Originally asked it when we first found out about the deal with ICE purchasing armored vehicles from Ontario. Now that with all the
I'm going to correct this story once and for all, Jamie. I heard it on the news. I don't direct companies to go sell military vehicles down south or around the world. What I believe in, the federal government should be buying military vehicles built here, built in Mississauga, built in London, to make sure that we buy them here for our military. We did not buy these vehicles. I didn't know about these vehicles. It's very similar. If Macilli sold cans somewhere, ABC, I don't know that, and nor should I. We don't have anything to do with what crosses the border. The question is, if you want to talk to the federal government that controls the borders, that controls trade, I don't know where this came from, to be very frank with you. It's like it's on social media, and we all know that everything on social media is 100% accurate. Well, I know it's a terrible, terrible thing, that social media. But anyways, I had nothing to do with it, and we should be buying military vehicles off that company there, and our friends in London as well.
Maxine, I'm just shaking my head. It's unbelievable. I went to that Brampton factory back in December. Why isn't the Premier saying, this is a fantastic manufacturing plant. It builds world-class products, including the order it has for ICE. And instead, he's distancing himself from Rochelle. He's saying, well, it's some social media chatter and whatnot. Max, today in Oshawa, Ontario, 1,200 GM workers are losing their jobs. We have auto manufacturing plants in Ontario, 2 I can think of off the top of my head, that are shuttered. We have the tariff dispute seriously affecting Ontario's auto industry. And now, according to Mr. Carney a week ago, we're going to have 49,000 Chinese EVs coming into the country, going up to about 70,000 in 5 years. Max, why isn't Doug Ford going to bat for Rochelle, saying, hey, you want an armored car? I don't care who you are in law enforcement around the world. This plant makes the best. Instead, he's distancing himself from it. I'm baffled. Can you make sense of it for me?
Yeah, because usually, actually, Ford is always there to promote Ontario, to promote the businesses in Ontario. And, he's proud of his economy and the big business and the car makers over there. But why this time is not promoting that corporation? For me, it's because one of their clients is ICE. And speaking about ICE in Canada today, it's not politically correct. It's like, approving the devil and approving, everything that is bad on this planet. So he doesn't want to have that discussion. And after that, the second question would have been, oh, Mr. Premier, you are okay with a corporation doing business with ICE and the US and all these undemocratic police force? So he doesn't want to have a second questions about that. But it's funny, if you are a business, yeah, it's good. You have a great client and go for it. And actually, I must admit that all these, when you are selling military armaments and military stuff around the world, it is approved by the federal government. The federal government must approve your clients because, as you said in the beginning, you don't want these vehicles to go to your enemies. And that was approved by the federal government. But for Trump, it's too dangerous politically today to support that.
Absolutely amazing, Max. Andrea, I mean, to Max's point, too, it's not like Rochelle is making armored vehicles for the Iranian regime so that they can massacre their own people who are peacefully protesting in the streets. They're manufacturing it for our greatest ally to enforce their federal law. Everything's above the book. You know, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking, yeah, it does make more and more sense for Minnesota to join Canada. Because when you have ostensibly a conservative premier speaking out against immigration law enforcement, i.e. Doug Ford, I think we got a big problem in this country.
Absolutely. And what message does it say to other companies that are maybe doing similar things that we don't know about, especially if there's any type of backlash for this company? God forbid it be something like we saw with Tesla when Elon Musk was working with the Trump administration. It's this ideological, anything to do with Trump is bad. And we see that running rampant in Canada. But who is Premier Ford to stand on his high horse and, cast shade on this company that's employing his own people? When he's the same premier spending millions of dollars to run ads in the US to, manipulate how they're viewing the whole tariff thing. He has no problem doing that. He has no problem threatening to turn off, their electricity in the winter and things like that. So he's going to act like he's on some sort of moral high horse when these guys are doing, as Mr. Bernier pointed out, what they are approved to do. What should be, hey, pat on the back, great work. Look at all the things we're buying and incorporating from China. In BC, our billion-dollar ferry vessels. And it's nice to see, the other way around here.
Yeah. If I was in the Premier's office, I would say we are so happy to have Rochelle in Brampton, Ontario. They're a world-class manufacturer. We are open for business. Remember that? Wasn't that one of his slogans? But now it's, well, we're kind of open for business. Just depends on your politics. Absolutely shameful. Why don't we switch gears to Amy Ham? I love Amy Ham. She was on the last Rebel News cruise to Alaska. Got to know her very well. And this is what she had to say recently. Quote, "Great. How nice that the BC Nurses Union spent time and effort to address the death of an American citizen when they can't be arsed to represent me after paying them union dues for over a decade," end quote. Of course, Miss Ham is that nurse who was disciplined by her own organization, kind of like how Jordan Peterson was, because not that she's medically incompetent, but when she weighed in on the trans issue, well, you know what? That's a protected class of people in Canada. You shall not talk negatively about that. And if you do, you're going to be cancel cultured and even career cultured. What do you make of this, Maxime? I think Amy has a great point. I paid all those thousands and thousands of dollars for you, my union, to represent me, but you're on side of the college. So what was I paying for all these years?
You're absolutely right about that. And, we need more transparency here in Canada for the people who are paying fees for their unions. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know where the money is going. And, they are paying for a cause that, maybe they don't want to support. And so I remember when I was in Parliament and Harper did pass the Harper government legislations to have more accountability, transparency about the union and where the money was coming, what they were doing to the fees that they received from the employers. So, but the employees, sorry. So that bill didn't pass, and we had a minority government at that time. But we need something like that in Canada. If Canadians can know what's happening with their money that they're giving to their unions, that can be a big difference. That can make a big difference, and they will have more control over where their money is going.